Did you know that there are actually quite a few comics based on the Jurassic Park franchise? There are. Let's talk about it. There we are. That's all the comics based on the Jurassic Park series. So it turns out there are 53 comics associated with the Jurassic Park franchise across 10 different comic book series. Some of those are basic adaptations of a couple of the movies. However, the rest are all original storylines. So let's get into them. The first comic series associated with the Jurassic Park franchise came out of Topps Comics in 1993, titled Jurassic Park numbers 0 through 4. Issues 1 through 4 of this series are a straight adaptation of the 1993 film. It starts out the same way, with a raptor being delivered to Jurassic Park and yet taking a victim in its very first outing, and then moves on to Alan and Ellie Grant as they are approached by Hammond to come and sign off on his mysterious park. They then go to said park and find out that it is a park full of actual living dinosaurs that have been genetically recreated by Hammond's scientists. Hammond's own grandchildren show up to enjoy the tour that is intended for Ellie, Alan, a chaotician named Ian Malcolm, and Hammond's lawyer, who is there to represent the interests of all of Hammond's investors. Of course, as the tour goes on, a storm hits the island, causing all sorts of chaotic issues. From there, Alan and Hammond's grandchildren have to survive in the wild, while Ian, Ellie, and the island hunter try and track them all down. While those 4 issues were a direct adaptation of the film, there was an issue 0 that ended up coming out accompanying the trade paperback collecting the 4 issues. This issue 0 contained 2 stories that were intended as prequels to the film. In the first story, Hammond takes his investor's lawyer Donald on a tour of the still being built park because the investors are getting nervous. Eventually, Hammond takes Gennaro to the lab where the T-Rex is being born, and it turns out the T-Rex is the first dinosaur to be born in Jurassic Park. The second story takes place years later when the park is more fully built and computer genius Dennis Nedry arrives on the island. Hammond gives him the tour and shows him some of the dinosaurs, at which point Nedry sees dollar signs in his eyes and he tries to renegotiate with Hammond, who says no nicely and then sternly. As a result, Nedry decides to sell Hammond out, so the wheels on that particular subplot of the film start turning. Like for part 2.